Good tidings, ladies and gentlemen of the lodge, and welcome back. Today's video will be all about our main man Sora, and why I believe that Kingdom Hearts 3 Sora is the best Sora. As always, allow me to say that if you tend to disagree with this perspective, I can respect that and can only hope that you will voice your opinion in the comments section below. But I believe when it comes to Sora's growth, character, and development, Kingdom Hearts 3 did him absolute justice, and has made his character perhaps more interesting than ever. But before we discuss Kingdom Hearts 3, let's briefly discuss Sora in his years leading up to Kingdom Hearts 3. Sora, as we have come to know him, is an unwaveringly optimistic hero who rarely hangs his head and never gives in to despair. This sort of attitude has been infectious upon a lot of the heroes we meet along the way. My personal favorite is the way Sora's optimistic, keep-on-trucking attitude charms Auron in the underworld of Kingdom Hearts 2.
It seems we were fated to meet. Maybe you need a guardian.
Guardian? Thanks, but no thanks.
We see this sort of effect populate among many of the characters Sora meets along the way. Another notable example is Neku in Dream Drop Distance, but that's a whole other video for another day. This upbeat and confident attitude of Sora's has been a staple of his personality through the years. For many reasons, this was perceived to be his biggest strength, until Dream Drop Distance decided to turn this on its head. Turns out, Sora's confidence and upbeat energy was coupled with naivety, a dangerous amount of naivety. When it came to taking the Mark of Mastery exam, we saw Riku express apprehension towards his abilities, while Sora seemed to think the exam would be a cakewalk. Ironically enough, this story ends with Sora's carelessness bringing him within seconds of Xehanort's possession, and Riku coming out the other side as a Keyblade Master. We see Sora express a genuine amount of happiness and pride for his friend's success, not letting his own failure get in the way of his friend's achievement. Again, demonstrating what a kind-hearted and lovable character Sora is. But this failure was not without its repercussions. As it turns out, that unwavering confidence and upbeat attitude of Sora's has been compromised by his failure, and has left him feeling insecure in a way which we have never seen before. I'll never forget the first time I played this game and seeing Sora's face look like that. I mean, it seemed like a real punch in the gut. Of course, a lot of this insecurity also comes from Sora being stripped of a lot of his power from being nearly possessed by Xehanort. But Yen Sid focuses Sora on regaining one specific power, the power of waking. More on that later. Next time we see this insecurity in Sora manifest is in Olympus in our encounter with Pete and Maleficent. And then, as if that wasn't bad enough, we see Sora hang his head upon their departure. Donald and Goofy try to comfort him, but all it does is make Sora more upset. Such is the nature of insecurity. When we get back to Yen Sid's tower, we see Donald and Goofy have a laugh at his expense, and shove him to the background upon Mickey's arrival. Not your best timing, guys. Your boy Sora needs you right now. Anyway, the game deals a pretty heavy hand in its prologue of establishing this insecurity in Sora, and that he needs to discover the power of waking within himself. His inability to access this power continues to drive his insecurity. Leaving the insecurities behind for a moment, let's turn our attention to the Disney worlds. As stated earlier in the video, Sora has a way of connecting and affecting the people he comes in contact with. I believe that Kingdom Hearts 3 delivers this aspect as a near bullseye, but to me, there were two prime examples that really stood out to me. For starters, it was the Big Hero 6 gang. After Hero lets Sora demo some of his new tech, he in turn inspires the characters to experiment with new combat tactics after observing him. The shot of Sora standing on top of a building with the whole Big Hero 6 squad flipping out and inspired after watching him will never fail to give me chills. Sora inspires the people he meets.
Thanks, Sora. That should be enough data. And I think you sparked some new ideas.
Yeah, Hero. I think there's a way to like this with my electromagnetic suspension that will make him fall down like a
down there. Hey, are you listening?
But then again, what about the people who already knew Sora? How did they respond to his presence in Kingdom Hearts 3? I could circle us back to Olympus and talk about Hercules, but my personal favorite example of this is actually Jack Sparrow himself. There's a moment where Davy Jones scoffs at a remark made by Sora. Jack Sparrow then steps in to defend our man with this.
I may still have a lot to learn about love, but I know what it means to share my heart with others. And it will take more than you to break a bond like that.
What does a whelp like you know about the heart?
The whelp has seen far more of the world than you know.
Let me tell you why I love this line so much, and what it does for Sora's character. As discussed before with Big Hero 6, we see what kind of impact Sora could leave on someone after meeting them for the first time, but what kind of lasting impact does he have on those he's known for years? Well, as we can see in the case of Jack Sparrow, Sora in so many ways is regarded as a legend. And this is important for this series and Sora moving forward. We need to see this kind of reverence for him and all that he's done. When Sora can command a level of respect out of characters he's known for years, it shows us a level of heroism that transcends worlds and time. These are just two examples scanning through the Disney worlds. I'd keep providing examples, but I want to circle us back to our main focus. That main focus being Sora's optimism and innocence being compromised, which will bring us to the Keyblade Graveyard, where Sora just about snaps. I know this was a big moment for everyone. Even though this part was shown in the trailers, it still ran a chill down my spine when it played out in real time during the cutscene. Sora, this boy of unwavering optimism who never gives up, falls to his knees in tears and admits defeat. His worst nightmare had come true. His fear of not rising to the challenge, as he always does, came to fruition. His fear and insecurity won the day, and Sora fades into the dark. But as we know, this wasn't the end of our hero's journey. In an act of symbolism that I found to be quite profound, Sora has to rebuild himself, piece by piece, from the ground up. If you care to notice, you'll see that all the Soras that have to be collected seem to carry that aura of positivity that Sora lost in his final moments. After the rescue of the Guardians, we find that the light in the darkness, the one holding us together, was Kairi all along. She passes an important lesson on to Sora, that the reason she was able to pull this off was because she never let go of hope, and always believed Sora would pull through. She never fell to negativity and cynicism. She held on to herself and her optimism despite the darkness, an important lesson for Sora to learn. However, this codependent solution could never last. Sora is going to need to learn to execute this on his own, because just as Sora was making his way up to Xehanort, he took away Sora's light. Kairi, the one Sora could now rely on to never give up, is gone. We see our best boy break down again in moments of fear, anger, and sadness. But this isn't the Sora from the beginning of the story. Hell, this isn't even the same Sora from before the fall to darkness. No, this Sora is ready to take this challenge head on. And upon his defeat of Xehanort, Sora's job isn't finished. He's determined to rescue Kairi. He's determined to use that power of waking that he found had been sleeping within him all along. And despite everybody's warnings, Sora knows what it is he has to do. And he knows that severe consequences await him. But with a smile on his face, he takes on the task of bringing Kairi, his light, back home. The power of waking, much like the solution to his own insecurity, was something that slept within him. It was nothing external. Then, you may have noticed that the Sora we found ourselves with in Remind was one of solid resolve. Sora not only reclaimed his optimism, but his confidence was radiating more than it ever had in the entire series. The boy who charmed Auron with his confidence and optimism is back, and better than ever.
How can you be here?
Hey, I can travel to different times too, you know. Did you think you were the only one with that power?
We all know how it plays out from here. Sora rescues Kairi, they team up to smack old Xehanort around, Sora and Kairi get to spend a lovely little date together, and Sora, making the ultimate hero sacrifice, fades away. There's so much to love about Sora's transformation throughout Kingdom Hearts 3, and as much as I rambled on in this video, I feel I've only just scratched the surface. Sure, Sora was the butt of the joke several times among his peers in Kingdom Hearts 3, but part of learning to deal with our insecurities is learning to have a laugh at our own expense every once in a while. At many times, it hurt to see Sora have a lack of confidence, or to feel insecure because Sora, as we have come to know him, has always done a good job of being unwavering when it comes to this. But at the end of the day, he's only human, and he was going to have to deal with these very human problems eventually. And I think the thing that I love the most is that when it came to Sora's personal problems and the power of waking, as stated before, this was something that came from within. For me, Kingdom Hearts 3 solidified Sora as one of my favorite characters in the series. Don't get me wrong, I have always loved the character, but characters like Riku and Aqua were always more compelling because of the hardships and because of the transformations we have seen the characters undergo. But now, I'm interested in what you guys think. What did you think of Sora's particular character arc in Kingdom Hearts 3? How do you think this will affect him moving forward? Do you think we can expect to see him resume his unwavering optimism now? Let me know! Anyway, thank you all very much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Stay safe out there, and I will see all of you beautiful sickos and normies next time.